Get cold, Steve. 10 minutes from Grandma.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Bryant Field your Princeton High School Marching Tigers. The Tigers are led onto the field tonight by PHS drum majors Alexis Alt and Jack Davis. Tiger fans, stand and show your blue and white pride as the PHS band plays the Princeton Loyalty and our fight song, Let's Win This Game. At this time, we ask you please stand and remove your hats as the band, under the direction of Mr. Stephen Olson, plays our national anthem.
Princeton Tiger football is on the air tonight from Bryant Field on the campus of Princeton High School. It's the Princeton Tigers taking on their longtime rival, the Kewanee Boilermakers. I want to say right at the start of the broadcast, we want to welcome in not only Tiger fans, but also those of the Kewanee Boilermakers, and from wherever else you may be watching, welcome indeed. And I am joined tonight by Princeton High School's head basketball coach, Jason Smith. And Jason, great to have you on board.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's going to be a fun one tonight, and I can't wait to get it going.
Well, we have just a few minutes before kickoff. I've got a few notes, and I know you're going to bring people up to date on some of the other games going on this weekend. Princeton 2-0, coached by Ryan Pearson. Last year, of course, the Tigers were 11-2. The enrollment at PHS 517. So far, the Tigers have beaten Lena Winslow 35-14 and Hall last week 49-3. Last year against Kewanee, by the way, it was PHS 49, Kewanee 7. Tigers, of course, play Kewanee tonight. Remaining 3 games at Orion, at Newman, and then they finish up against Fulton on April 23rd, a home game. As far as stats, Rondé Worrells, 20 rushes, 199 yards, 4 touchdowns. Augie Christensen, 18 rushes, 145 yards, 2 TDs. Tyler Gibson is 13 out of 27 with an interception, 3 touchdowns, 249 yards. And receiving for the Tigers, the leaders, Bennett Sirens, 5 for 111. 1 touchdown, Tegan Davis, 3 catches, 61 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Drew Harp with 11 tackles against Hall last week. For the Boilers, they are also undefeated, albeit 1-0. They are coached by Brad Swanson, who's in his second year. The Boilers were 7-4 last year, so they had a nice playoff run as well. Their enrollment 557, and in their only game, they beat Erie Prophetstown 21-14. The Boilers are only playing 4 games this year. Of course, they play Princeton tonight. They host Hall on April 9th and play at Riverdale on the 16th. As far as some stats on Kewanee, and there is just the one game, quarterback Will Bruno with a game-winning quarterback sneak with 104 remaining in the game against Erie Prophetstown. He passed for 178 yards and 2 touchdowns. And as far as the rushing threats for Kewanee, we'll be watching for Tavion Taylor and Malcolm DeJesus. Other Boilermaker standouts include defensive lineman Kazir Johnson and kicker Keegan Anderson. The all-time series, PHS up 63 to 56 losses and 4 ties, 123 meetings. And Schmitty, I'm sorry I talked for so long, but some of the other games this weekend?
Yeah, you got LP at Plano on Saturday at 1. St. Bede 2-0 at Erie Prophetstown. That's going on tonight at 7 o'clock. Bureau Valley against Hall on Saturday. Oregon against Mendota on Friday night, tomorrow night. And then you got Fieldcrest at Eureka. That's going to be a good one.
Yes.
Number 5 Fieldcrest against number 7 Eureka. That's going on Saturday as well. Then Low Point Washburn against South Beloit. And Forreston against the Amboy Memorial tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that. And we are about set to get this one underway as Keegan Anderson, a 6'1 senior, is going to tee things up for the Boilermakers. By the way, that game on Saturday, Hall and Bureau Valley, that's a 1 o'clock start. You can watch that game on Hall's version of Tiger Central Live. Just go to Hall High School Sports, and you can also get it on the radio, WAJK 99.3, Mike Berry, and of course a good friend of yours, Mike Filippini, doing the color on that one.
Yeah, Coach Phil's a great guy.
And I actually, when Princeton played last week against Hall, that's what I did. And ironically, there was about a 25-second delay, so they described the play, and then you could watch it. It really, it wasn't obtrusive at all, as opposed to if it was like 3 or 4 seconds difference, and the play and the commentary wasn't in sync. Okay, we are ready to go. Keegan Anderson set to kick off, kicking towards the scoreboard into the field, and we're underway. It's a short kick, fielded by the Tigers, and a good gain. That appears to be Logan Glancy, and a good return. That's Tegan Davis, I beg your pardon. And Tegan brings it out to the 45-yard line. So right off the bat, Schmitty, good field position.
Yeah, you can kick it to whoever you want for the Tigers, and they're going to return the ball. There's a lot of weapons that we have here tonight, Norm, and pick your poison if you will.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I was in basketball mode when I saw number 2. That was Logan's number in basketball, I do believe. So Tyler Gibson opens up at quarterback, I formation backfield for the Tigers. Drew Harp playing fullback.
Something to look for is the offensive line against the defensive line of Kewanee. The offensive line of the Tigers should dominate the defensive line of the Boilermakers.
And to no one's surprise, the handoff goes to Rondé Worrells and about 8 yards on first down.
Yeah, it's a simple run right play and almost a misdirection. They pulled to the left, or actually swept everybody down to the left, and made a nice gain right there of 8.
Second down and short for the Tigers. Gibson under center, and it looks like the Boilers jumped early. It'll be a freebie first down for the Tigers on the offsides.
Yeah, it's a common play that the Tigers use, and it never fails. They always get a 1 or 2 offside penalties. You get a first down, Norman. That's what happened right there.
So obviously the Boilers are going to have to minimize the mistakes to have any chance whatsoever. And now the play is blown shut as Tigers return the favor with illegal procedure. So we'll be right back to where we started from.
I think Cyhockey got a little anxious there and just got off the ball a little bit too early.
Actually, it winds up being 1st and 15, however, as the offsides gave the Tigers a first down. Forcing the Tigers to the air, though, isn't necessarily a bad thing by any means. Tyler Gibson is quite good. And he's back to throw. Throws downfield, and this one is caught. However, I believe it's going to be ruled incomplete for being out of bounds. Logan Glancy hauling it in.
Yeah, Tyler threw the ball right on stride, and Logan came up with the ball just out of bounds. So, got to know where you're at in bounds, and that play gets completed right there.
Yeah, I was just looking at the flag there. There's not nearly as much wind as there has been the past day or so, but what wind there was would have forced that ball to drift out of bounds, and now Worrells hitting the backfield, and maybe a loss of 1 on that one, so 3rd and long for the Tigers.
Yeah, there was a misassignment block there. Somebody let the defensive lineman go, maybe didn't know the right play call or whatnot, but that stuff can't happen. The Tigers are usually disciplined more than that, and I'm sure they'll make corrections here going forward.
They have it inside Kewanee territory at the 48-yard line. 3rd down and 16 as Gibson awaits the shotgun snap. He has it, he rolls, fires deep, and this one it's intercepted, or no, referee rules incomplete. So kind of a wild sequence down there. Looked like the Tigers had a chance for a catch. Then the Boilers dropped the potential interception. It'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, it was a good ball again by Tyler, and Bennett was just fighting for position. Couldn't quite come up with the ball, but you know, that's what you got to do if you're Tyler Gibson. You throw the ball up for grabs for your athletic receivers to go get it, and that just didn't happen that time.
So Keontis Patterson is deep for the Boilers. He's standing at about his 15-yard line as Tyler Gibson is getting set to punt. Here's the snap. It's a good one, and Gibson's punt is also a good one. And the Tigers with some good coverage. They're just going to down this one inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, good flip of the field. That's what you want to do when you have a good defense like the Tigers do. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of scheme that Kewanee comes up with and how the Tigers game planned against Kewanee.
And you know, that's an excellent point. People talk about the Tigers offense, and as well they should, with Rondé Worrells and Tyler Gibson and the like. But their defense has been lights out. So only 3 points last week against the Hall Red Devils, and that came late in the game.
Well, the Tigers' team speed is just phenomenal, and it just shows on the football field from sideline to sideline.
Will Bruno, the quarterback in the shotgun, and the first play for Kewanee is a pass. He has a man open, and it is incomplete, intended for Jordan Johnson.
Yeah, it looked like Bruno threw a ball really good, and defensive backs were there right at the end there to break up the play. I think it was Tegan Davis came over as a safety and broke up the play right there. So nice job by the Tigers playing help defense right there.
Will Bruno is a junior, a 6-footer, and had a great game last week.
Pass interference are calling against the Tigers.
Okay, so it will be a first down for the Boilers. Obviously, it's not ideal, but in a sense, it's not like in the pros. Had he caught it, it would have been more than what the penalty was.
Yeah, absolutely.
First and 10 Boilers at the 24. So far, things are starting out the way Kewanee would like them to. Tigers look like they're in a blitz, and it's a wide sweep for the Kewanee Boilers. Tavion Taylor getting beyond the 40-yard line. It'll be another first down for Kewanee.
It looked like a broken play as Bruno misfumbled the snap, but somehow Tavion came up with the ball and ran the ball out wide for a 12-yard run, and that's enough for Kewanee's first down.
So things are coming up roses for the Boilers here in the early going. 9:52 to go, first period, no score. Princeton unable to move the ball on their first possession, and the Boilers have picked up a couple of first downs on theirs. Now we have movement at the line of scrimmage, and the penalty is going to go against Kewanee.
Looked like Josh Nimrick just jumped off. Maybe the count was on 2. Norm, he went on 1, and that's never a good thing.
No, and I was thinking, who are they going to pick? Because we did have a few Tiger linemen jumping too, but it goes against the Boilers. First and 15. Go ahead, Schmitty.
Sometimes I think it takes a series or 2 to kind of see what the game plan is, see what kind of adjustments the Tigers make.
Now Bruno back to throw, fires deep. He's got a man open, and at the last instant, it is intercepted.
Cale Davis.
Cale Davis on the pick. He is to the 40, to the 35, still on his feet. And Davis is going to get down near the 30-yard line, so a great interception by Cale Davis.
Yeah, that was a well-read play by Cale. He kind of baits the quarterback and thinking the receiver's open. Cale has great closing speed, comes up and makes an athletic play, and then returns the play for about, probably 40 yards there. Nice job by Cale reacting there, and I think the ball hung up just a little bit too much on Bruno, and that's what happened.
And you said the perfect word. He baited that quarterback, thinking he was open, and yet Cale knew he had the speed to come back and cover. That's exactly what happened. First and 10 Tigers. Let's see if they can take advantage of this opportunity at the Kewanee 31. It's a running play and good yardage on this one. Taking the carry that time is Augie Christensen.
That's just like the Tigers. They just pound the ball and use some play action passes and wears down that defense of the opponent, and that's what's happening right now.
And you mentioned in the opening that you thought that the Tiger offensive line would be able to win that battle of the line of scrimmage. Now a quick pass out to the flank. It is complete, and not much yardage, if any, is going to be picked up on this one. Bennett Sirens with the reception, but they're going to be moving the chains backwards a touch.
Stopped by number 21, Josh Nimrick.
So it'll bring up third down and about 5 for Princeton at the 25.
Second and 5, third and 5.
Yeah, it looked like just a little wide receiver screen, and I thought the Boilermakers did a nice job of jumping all over that. So right now the passing game isn't where the Tigers want it to be. And
well, Kewanee's definitely got good quickness in that defensive backfield, so probably more so than what Lena Winslow or Hall possessed. Third down and 5. Of course, the Tigers in 4-down territory. Gibson with a long snap count. And now the pitch goes to Rondé Worrells, and Rondé able to get very close to first down yardage. We'll see where they mark it, down around the 20-yard line.
It's going to be 4th down and short, but Rondé is showing a burst of speed right there like we're used to seeing, and that was a real close to a first down, a gain of 5 right there.
So 4th down and probably even less than a yard here.
Big play of the game right now early on.
I formation. And no surprise, the handoff goes to Rondé Worrells. He's got the first down and a whole lot more. He's to the 10, to the 5, lunges towards the goal line, and he'll wind up down around the 4-yard line.
Yeah, that was a lot of offensive line and a lot of Rondé right there. As he just spun his way through and then broke a couple of tackles at the initial first wave of Boilermakers. And man, oh man, is he a hard guy to get down.
Yes, he is. So the Tigers continue in that I formation. Now Rondé is out of the game on this play. And it's Augie Christensen, and into the end zone he goes for the Tigers' first touchdown.
Drew Hart.
Excuse me, Drew Hart. Thanks for catching me, Schmitty.
No problem. That was a simple fullback dive right there, and Drew Hart he does that. He finds those creases, and he does a nice job of hiding himself behind that offensive line, and he slithers in for a 4-yard touchdown.
So tough. So 6-0 Princeton, and Jamie Reinhardt, who's as fine a kicker as you will find, puts it right through the uprights, and the Tigers jump out to a 7-0 lead.
Mr. Automatic, as Jamie does a nice job of kicking extra points. You can always rely on him. I was giving him a hard time the other day about missing one, and he's like, Coach, I won't do that again. So he's usually about a 95% tough field goal kicker, and he did a nice job there of kicking that extra point. What I'm impressed with about their special teams is how the snap and the hold gets down so good. You never hardly ever see a botch snap or a botch hold, and the offensive line does a nice job of securing that. That's a hard play to defend or to block against, and I think the Tigers do a real good job of that.
The late Jack Buck, who of course is known for doing St. Louis Cardinal baseball, but he also used to do NFL broadcasts, and he goes, I'll never refer to a field goal as a chip shot field goal, and it's just because of what you were talking about. There's so many things that can go wrong. A bad snap, the holder has trouble catching the snap. So it's a team effort, but Jamie certainly does his part. That is for sure. He's amazing to watch. Well, we were blessed this evening as about 10 minutes before the game, the sun on this side of the field was absolutely blinding, but it's went behind the school, and absolutely great vision here from the press box as the kick is away, and the Boilers field it at about the 5, straight ahead, and good yardage. I believe that was Malcolm DeJesus on the return.
Number 3.
Yeah, the Boilermakers definitely have some good speed, and they always have athletes, so they're capable of breaking a long return here or a long run here or a good pass play there. So, Princeton's always got to be on their toes, and that was pretty good coverage for the Tigers right there.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I mean, you only had so many games for basketball, but I wish Kewanee would have been one of them. That would have been a good matchup, Kewanee and Princeton.
Yeah, there was a lot of matchups I wanted to see in basketball, and that never happened.
Shotgun formation, and the Boilers this time an errant pitch, but it doesn't matter. It is Taylor, and look at him go. He may score. He's to the 30, to the 20, and he is going to score. So let's see.
That's a 70-yard touchdown run for Tavion Taylor. Looked like a botched pitch again. Well, he just mishandled the pitch, had the perfect bounce to him, and he broke a lot of tackles and cut back to the opposite field, and the Tigers couldn't respond to that. And Kewanee answers back right away, down 7-6, extra point pending.
Yeah, in game time, took them all of 22 seconds to get this game to within 1 point. But you're right, that's the second time tonight in relatively few number of plays that Kewanee's had a botch play that wound up working out pretty well. Keegan Anderson on the kick, so the Boilers, like the Tigers, blessed with a good kicker. Here's the snap, and the kick is on the way. It is good. So we are tied at 7.
Your score was 7-16 remaining.
I was asking some of the Tigers on the sidelines earlier before I came up to the booth about, what was the game plan going into tonight, and they just said stop number 5. Well, that's Tavion Taylor. He just scored a 70-yard run, so they know what they have to do, but sometimes know what you have to do and doing it is two different things.
100%. Well, if the early going's any indication, Tigers have a fight on their hands, that is for sure.
Norm, what do you think about the Final Four in basketball coming up for the college boys basketball with Baylor and Houston and UCLA is a surprise and Gonzaga?
I'll probably jinx them, but if I had to pick one, I would say Gonzaga. How about you?
Yeah, Gonzaga's looking pretty tough. I mean, Jalen Suggs is the real deal. He's a very smooth player and fun to watch, and they're just clicking on all cylinders. I've been pretty impressed with how UCLA's been playing.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think the Cinderella story is going to stop right there. And then Gonzaga, I think they'll be matching up against Baylor. I really do. But, Houston's going to present Baylor some matchup problems. So it'll be a great championship. We saw Baylor against Gonzaga, that's for sure.
Of course, there was a time, when John Wooden was coaching UCLA that they dominated college basketball. Is that before your time?
A little bit.
Okay, I'm always saying stuff like that to Tiffany, But back in the days, not only of Lou Alcindor, later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but also during the Bill Walton era. All right, we are set to go here, and here's the kick by the Boilers, and the Tigers able to field it, and on the run with it is Tegan Davis, and Davis gets to about the 30-yard line where he is hit hard.
Yeah, Tegan looked like it was a return right, and he didn't get to the right very, very fast, it seemed like, but the Boilermakers did a nice job. I could tell you and Tegan right there, and I'm always intrigued about the matchups, about how the coaching staff makes adjustments, and I'm sure there'll be some adjusting on special teams as well as defense and offense, both ways.
1st and 10 for the Tigers. They mark it at the 32-yard line. Rondé whirls right up the middle. Look at the power he has, surging out to about the 38-yard line.
Yeah, he covers up the ball with both hands too, which is very impressive. He always does it, takes good care of the ball. But what I'm impressed with right now is how the Tigers are getting off the ball. Watch their explosion at the front line. Those guys are doing an excellent job right now.
2nd down and 5, rapidly moving first quarter, 6:42 to go. Tied up at 7. And this time Rondé is spilled in the backfield. And it's going to be 3rd down and 6.
Nimrick came out of the linebacker position and guessed the right hole, picked it, popped him, and did a nice job of tackling. You got to get low on Rondé, and he did that. He's a strong individual. Just look at him.
So Tigers in a passing situation. Definitely not 4-down territory here on their side of the 50. Gibson awaits the snap. He has it, rolls to his right, has a man, and the pass is caught, but apparently short of the 1st down. Logan Glancy hauling that one in, and it'll be 4th down and 1.
Yeah, Logan ran a nice route. I think the Boilermakers just did a nice job of stopping that play and sniffing that out.
4th and 1. Looks like the Tigers will go for it. I formation backfield. Oilers creep up. They've got everybody in tight. Long snap count. And the handoff goes to Rondé Whirls. He says, you want to challenge me? I'll show you. And Rondé gets it out near midfield. It'll be a 1st down for the Tigers.
Yeah, that was a nice job of Rondé. You could tell he wasn't going to be denied there. And that offensive line, again, I know I keep harping on it, but man, that was just a nice job of initial surge right at the front line of scrimmage. it's going to be interesting to see how they get to the second level. If they can get to the second level, I think Princeton's about ready to run off a nice long one.
And 4th down and 1 in your own territory, but you're a team that's one of the top-ranked teams in the state. You almost have to go for it. You've got to have that confidence, and they sure did a nice job. Gibson back to throw, long pass. He's got a man open, and it was bobbled as hauling it in was Bennett Sirens. He bobbled it, he caught it, but by the time he gained control, or are they going to give him credit for it?
I thought he gained control of it. I didn't think he bobbled it. I thought he gained control.
Kewanee is making that argument, so I beg your pardon. It is going to be ruled a catch. Some of the others up here on press row thought maybe the Tigers got a break, but hey, we'll take it.
That's a 31-yard pass right there from Gibby to Bennett. And
all right.
There's a flag down. What's the flag down for?
Personal foul. Roughing the passer.
Oh boy, roughing the passer on the Oilers, so that's going to add even more real estate to that play. Tigers are down to the 10-yard line with a chance to take the lead. Man in motion. And a handoff, and this is going to go for a big loss. Logan Clancy tackled in the backfield.
Brought down by number 61, Jackson Hicks.
No fault of Logan's, however. He just had no chance whatsoever.
No, the pursuit on the backside lineman by the backside linebacker from Kewanee did a nice job of sniffing that out and had some great closing speed because Logan's a pretty fast individual.
Oh, very fast. And I'm actually surprised as they mark it off that they're saying, well, yeah, apparently some confusion with the way the chain gang has got the ball marked there. The way they have the chains marked, Schmitty, they make it look like it's 2nd down and 5, but that's not it.
I thought it was 2nd and goal.
Yeah, so now a handoff in the backfield, fumble. Rondé Wills falls on it. So, yeah, it's 3rd down and goal is what it amounts to from the 20.
3rd and goal from the 20.
I believe it's 3rd and goal. I think the chain gang's got to drop their yardsticks there.
Yeah. And I guess where the confusion came in, were they at the 10 or the 11?
Yeah.
Well, they must have made it to the 10.
I think they did.
3rd and goal from the 20. Gibson going to call his own number. He's got good yardage. And he gets down inside the 5-yard line, where it'll bring up about 4th and goal from the 4.
4th and goal.
Well, check it. They're going to mark it at the 5.
Good gain for 15 yards. That was a simple replay by Gibby. It looked like maybe just a simple keep play by Gibby because he wasn't reading too much there. I think he was going to keep the whole way. He did that, went up the seam and gained 15 yards and make a manageable 4th and goal situation from the 5-yard line.
And did you go to the playoff game last year at Hall?
I didn't miss a game, Norm.
Yeah. Well, remember, the Tigers were having a tough time moving the ball on the Red Devils, and what finally got them going was Tyler on some keepers. So I like the call.
Yeah, I do too. I think, there's only, and of course you're going to key on Rondé, right? Of course you're going to try to key on guys like Logan Glancy and Drew Harp and Augie Christensen because they get the ball more times than not. But I'm telling you what, Tyler Gibson can run the ball, and he runs the ball effectively. And so I think the coach has seen that, and they could probably call that same play right here and get this touchdown. But I think they're going to call some sort of short crossing routes because crossing routes are hard to defend in the high school level. And I think you're going to see Gibby throw a touchdown pass right here. Just a forecast.
All right. No, well, that's what we want from you.
I think they're going to use Rondé as a decoy.
4th and 5. Well, the one thing, if you don't make it, you do have them, pinned deep. Gibson calling signals.
Going unbalanced.
And Rondé whirls right up the middle, no problem. Touchdown from 5 yards out.
Or don't use Rondé as a decoy, just give it to him. What they did was they did a nice job. They went unbalanced for the first time tonight, and what that means is, for the folks at home that don't know, is they shift the tackle and the tight end and shift them to the left-hand side to make an unbalanced powered to the left-hand side, just a simple handoff to Rondé where you have more blockers than they have defensive players, and that's a 5-yard scamper for Rondé.
And Jamie Reinhardt right on the money with the kick, and the Tigers go up by a score of 14-7. I want to thank Steve Morton for all his work, and we've got, Steve Gray out on the camera, and he's really got the tough job because he is outside, and as you know, it's not warm.
Yeah, that would probably kill a normal man, Norm, but barely hurts Steve out there. So he's just a strong individual, and he can take the win like a champ, that's for sure.
And, if there's an errant punt or something and it comes up here, who's going to get the souvenir? He is.
Exactly. Hey, you know what? A night like tonight, I'm going to let him have that souvenir,
yeah,
too.
You bet.
I think the older I get, the more cold bothers me, Norm, and I'd rather be inside the booth watching a cold football game than outside, honestly.
I think the last time we played Kewanee over at Kewanee.
Oh, that was cold and wet.
The wind was blowing a gale, wasn't it?
It was crazy.
So Jamie Reinhardt set to kick off. Tigers up 14-7 as Rondé whirls. Punched it in from 5 yards out with 2:57 to go, first period. And it's a low kick by Reinhardt, touched by the Boilers. They've got to pick this up, and they do. And oh my, good yardage on the return for Kewanee. Is that DeJesus on the return? They've got some guys that can pick up yardage in a hurry, don't they, Schmitty?
They got a lot of speedsters, and a lot of speedsters with power, it looks like, too, as well, Norm. And, again, I think there's a bunch of good athletes on both sides of the ball. That's why tonight makes a real interesting ball game.
So far, the Boilers have shown that they can trade punches with the Tigers. We'll see if they can answer that last Tiger score. Tigers had to convert 2 fourth downs on that drive. Bruno calling signals and a timeout taken by Coach Swanson. So doesn't appear to be too happy.
Looked like maybe he didn't have the right personnel in that he wanted in, or I don't know if they didn't have enough guys in the field either. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I think that maybe we had a man short. That's why he had to call timeout. And as a coach, it upsets you because you've been working on stuff all week long in certain packages, and that's why he's pretty unhappy right now.
Well, I know as a basketball coach, you have your work cut out for you, the softball and baseball coaches, but would you say that football is the toughest toughest sport to coach?
I've coached both, actually, and there's a lot that goes into football coaching, especially when you're calling plays. You got to know down, distance, time. I mean, it's not as simple as seeing, hey, do this or do that, and you'll get this many yardage, or you'll score a touchdown here. I mean, you got to know your stuff, and I think Coach Pearson does a nice job, along with the whole coaching staff of the Tigers. They do a great job with this program, that's for sure.
Yeah, and to have good assistants, so important in the Tigers.
Absolutely.
They have a great coaching staff. Now the Boilers, look at this formation. 4 men to the right side of the field, and now before the play is even started, we have a penalty.
Well, the penalty is 13 was off the sidelines, and all of a sudden he comes on after the formation set. You can't do that. It's almost like illegal participation.
So it'll march him back 5.
On the offense.
That's their 4th penalty, going for 25 yards.
First and 15 from the 37.
Thing of it is, Kewanee's so explosive, they can pick up yardage in chunks of 25, 30, 50.
Absolutely.
All right, same formation. This time they've got it right, and it's a quick pass by Bruno. It's complete, but the Tigers do a nice job of dissecting this, and this is going to go even for a slight loss.
Marquez Logan.
It looks like it was the Marquez Logan.
Well, Well, apparently the theory is, you get 4 guys over on that side, you get the quick pass, you've got those blockers out in front, but that did not faze the Tigers whatsoever. Second down and 17 for the Boilers. They have it at their own 35. Bruno fields the snap, fires, it's high and it's intercepted.
Cale Davis again.
Cale Davis with his second pick of the night.
He's on fire. Just ask him, he'll tell you. Look at him running around. He runs from sideline to sideline fast as anybody I can. I call him the squirrel because you never know what you're going to get out of Cale. He's so crazy.
Boy, oh boy, he played that perfectly. That throw just a touch high, and he was there to field the overthrow. And that could be a real turning point in this game.
Yeah, I mean, as the Boilermakers, they know that turnovers is going to be huge. They got to keep the ball whenever they have it and value that football. And just a simple overthrow by Bruno, and Cale is there to reap in the rewards.
It's a good friend, Charlie Walker would say. I see there's a TV crew here, so maybe you'll see highlights on the news.
Look at this formation.
Yeah, kind of copying Kewanee a little bit, except even more exaggerated. 3 linemen for Princeton as Gibson throws, and this they better get on this ball. We'll see.
He's pointing backwards. Pass. That's a backward lateral.
That's Kewanee's ball. We'll see what they decide, but
if it's a backwards pass, it's a turnover. It's a fumble.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh, Princeton got fortunate there. They're calling it second down.
Well,
Second down. From 39.
Thank goodness there's not instant replay
yes,
here.
I'm thinking the same thing because we're about right in line with where that play was, and it was backwards. And Coach Swanson letting the referee know that he does not agree with the call.
Well, what I don't get is why did the referee point this way?
Exactly.
Because they was trying to call for a backwards lateral there, but hey, we'll take it.
Second down and 10, no harm. Now another pass to the outside. It's caught. Very little gain on that one as Tegan Davis with the reception.
Gain of 1 brought down by number 1, Cam Conley.
Yeah, they're just trying to get their athletes in space. Norm is all they're doing, and right now they're having a hard time getting their athletes in space, and hopefully they get their stuff together here pretty soon.
Drew Harpin at the fullback position. Gibson back to throw. He's under heavy pressure. He lets it go, and this pass is incomplete.
Number 12, Tyler Gibson's pass intended for number 24, Sandy Saihaki.
Yeah, Saihaki was the intended target, and a lot of pressure on Tyler right there. And just couldn't quite get his feet set to get a good pass off.
So 4th down, and the Tigers will apparently go for it once again.
You don't know because
Of course,
Tyler is a punter.
Yeah, and he has the potential, too, to just take that short drop back and punt it, too. But just by formation, it looks like they're going to go for it. And Gibson is back to throw. Throws, and this one is incomplete. Tossed it down for Matt Lucas, and it was knocked away.
Kewanee will start 1st and 10 from their own 39.
So that's a great job by Kewanee's defense to, overcome that turnover they just threw by Bruno. So nice job by the Boilermakers to.
I would almost like to see the Tigers the next time they get the ball, just steady diet of Ronde and Augie and Drew Harp. 1st and 10 for Kewanee at their 39. Boilers have been hurt by 2 turnovers. And this time they will keep it on the ground, and this is Taylor on the carry. Breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, and it's going to wind up being about a 7-yard gain for Tavian Taylor.
Taylor's got some thick legs on him, and he can run. He runs so hard that you got to bring him down by the legs, and it's easier said than done, but maybe try to tie him up and then gang tackle him. It's going to take more than one Tiger to take him down, I believe.
nearing the end of the first period, just 39 seconds to go. Princeton leads 14-7 as Kewanee faces second down and 2. Bruno in the shotgun, takes the snap, and it's Taylor. He knifes through the line for a short gain. We'll see if he has the first down, and the referee indicates that he does, near midfield.
Yeah, that was all Tavian there. The Tigers had him sniffed out again. They got to do a better job of tackling. That's all it is. You just got to tackle a little bit better, and I think they'll do that in the course of this game. But it looks like the Kewanee might be content to run out the clock in the first quarter.
So 14-7, Princeton leading over Kewanee at the end of the first period.
Just some quick stats here so far.
Sure.
First quarter, they're passing for Kewanee. They're 1 for 3 with -2 yards, and 2 interceptions. Princeton's doing a nice job of guarding against the pass there. But the rushing is all Tavian Taylor, and he's got 4 rushes for 93 yards, and of course that long touchdown run for 70 yards. So they got 4 first downs, 3 by the rush, and 1 by a penalty, and they got 4 penalties for 25 yards. For the Tigers, Tyler Gibson is 4 for 9 for 35 yards, and with those 35 yards, 30 of them were to Bennett Sirens, who leads the Tigers in receiving. Rondé Worrells has got 9 rushing attempts for 40 yards and a touchdown, and then Drew Harp's got 1 for 4 to touchdown. So to cap off the scoring drives in that first quarter, Norm, Drew Harp with a 4-yard run with 7:38 to go in the first quarter, put the Tigers up 7-0. Tavian Taylor answered that quickly at 7:16 to go in the first quarter with a 70-yard run. The extra kick by Anderson was good. And then with 2:57 to go in the first quarter, Rondé Worrells with the 5-yard touchdown run. Reinhardt with the extra point put the Tigers up 14-7. That's where we sit to open the second quarter.
Yeah, excellent recap. And, you know, if you think of what jumps off the page, it's sort of, if Kewanee had shot themselves in the foot so many times, they not only could be tied up, possibly in the lead. The turnovers and the penalties have hurt them.
Yeah, you never know. Exactly. Now they start off in the 49-yard line on their own, and they got great field position coming out the second quarter.
And the handoff goes to Taylor off left tackle. Just a short gain this time. Let's see if we can get who's at the bottom of the pile for Princeton.
Drew Harp.
No surprise, huh?
No, that guy's an animal child.
11 tackles last week against Hull, second down and 9. And you mentioned Kewanee, -2 yards passing in the first period. So obviously it's that running game that the Tigers are going to have to key on. Though Bruno did have a big game through the air against Erie Prophetstown. And the Boilers' only other game. They're 1-0. Princeton's 2-0. And Bruno back to throw. He's got a lot of time. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, and he is going to be sacked. Pierce Miller
had him first, and who was there to clean him up? Rondé was there to clean up. So that's what you got to do. That was a nice job by Pierce, getting through that line, making that initial hit, wrapping up his legs where he couldn't go anywhere. Rondé finished up. And that's a big sack for Princeton there. A loss of 7 to bring a 3rd down and 16. There's a big play for you right here, Norm, to open up the second quarter.
Without question, and very, very well described on your color commentary. You know, Pierce, he didn't over pursue and run by the quarterback. He made sure he got a good grip on him, and as you said, Rondé there to help finish him off. Rondé, for all the acclaim of his running, which is of course is well deserved. He's the all-time leading rusher in Princeton history, but he's a great defender too. 3rd and 16, and this time the Boilermakers
got a flag. Looks like a legal procedure on the Boilermakers.
Yeah, they trying some sort of wide sweep there, but penalty called, and Kewanee's got 3rd down and 21 coming up.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to do some sort of reverse play right there where, try to sucker in the Tigers defense to overcommit to one side and pull a surprise on them. But when you're that deep, when you're that 3rd and 20, 3rd and 15, you're looking for that stuff. So I don't think the Tigers are going to get fooled there.
I was kind of looking out there. Is that Cale Davis that's standing? No, it's not. I was looking to see where. Cale's over on the wide side of the field.
Bennett's on this side. Yeah.
He is really. He's got 2 picks already. I was thinking, well, how about a third one? Maybe Kewanee won't throw that way. They're going to keep it on the ground. This is Taylor. And look at this pursuit by the Tigers. Great job.
That's what they need to do.
There's 4 or 5 Princeton guys in on that tackle, including Pierce Miller, who just had the sack.
Yeah, Pierce did a nice job of pursuing that play. And Tegan Davis came up and filled in. Cale came all the way from the far side, was there. Grant Foes. You saw Logan Glancy, a host of Tigers there. Rondé, that's what you got to do to stop this kid.
Who is our defensive coordinator? Do you know? Is that Jesse Snyder that has that job? I'm not sure. Maybe Dave Moore? There are a lot of any of those guys more than capable, that's for sure. Here's the snap. It's kind of a slow one, but the Boilers get the punt. It's a high pop fly punt. And, oh my goodness, the Tigers field it. That was kind of risky, but they're able to hang on to it. That was Tegan Davis hauling it in.
Number 2, Tegan Davis on the return.
Well, there's no surprise that Tegan wanted to field that ball. He didn't want to let the Kewanee have any more yards than what they already had. So he grabbed it, took the punishment, and kind of a risky play, but he didn't let any more yards go by.
Yeah, and he's about as sure-handed a guy as you're going to find. So 1st and 10 at their own 40 for Princeton. They lead 14-7. Well, let's see if the Tigers decide to just get back to pounding the football. It's not really a formation that would indicate they're going to. Gibson's going to call his own number. He gets past the line of scrimmage and ekes out maybe a couple or 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 7.
Yeah, that was just a simple play by Tyler where he faked like he was going to throw the ball. And boy, it was a design run the whole time. And really got up the field and gained a lot more yards than I thought he was going to initially. So 3-yard gain there is not bad.
I formation backfield this time. And the handoff goes to Rondé Whirls. Look at him power his way, but still the Boilers, we talked about the Tigers gang tackling. That's what Kewanee does. And it's going to bring up 3rd down and 3. So.
Yeah, but 3, 3, 3, and then you got a 4th and 1 situation.
Sure.
I'll take that all day,
Yep, and maybe wear that Kewanee defense down a little bit. Once again, the I formation backfield. And it's Drew Harp, and the Boilers say, oh, no, you don't. Among the Boilers in on that tackle was number 56, Keanu Jocko. 4th down and 4 for Princeton at their own 46. Gibson trying to draw the Boilers offside, but they're able to contain themselves from making that penalty. Rondé right up the middle. He's got the 1st down. He's to the 40, to the 35, 30, and he gets down to about the 27-yard line.
So we're going to call it a 27-yard
exactly,
run.
Yep. You and I were on the same page on that one. Absolutely. 27 yards for Rondé. Tigers have had to face a lot of 4th down situations. Fortunately, they've been able to convert them.
Doesn't it look like sometimes Rondé looks like he's not going to be denied?
Oh, without question. And now a counter play by Princeton. That was Augie Christensen on the carry. Not much on that one. Bring up 2nd down and 8.
Yeah, a little misdirection play there where you fake the one handoff and hand it off to the other, crossbuck series I would call it, and try to throw the Boilermakers off, off their game a little bit, but they came through right there and sniffed it out and only stopped them for a 2-yard gain.
Gibson in the shotgun. He's back to throw. Fires over the middle. He's got his man. That's Caleb Herring. And he gets down to around the 20-yard line. So I like the call, don't you, Schmitty?
Yeah, that's a great call. Caleb finding a seam right there. Gained 6 yards right there, and now you're a 3rd down and a manageable 3rd down and short.
Kind of use some of those fundamentals that you taught him. Use that body, box out, square up so those defenders can't get to it. And this time Gibson's going to call his own number. And the Boilers, I believe they have held him short of the first down.
Tyler Gibson with the keeper.
He's going to gain 1, needed 2. It's going to be a 4th down and 1 play.
Boy, oh boy. This is really something. You can go a whole game and not see this many 4th down and short situations. As we've said, the Tigers have been able to convert every time. You going to Ronde here?
Yeah.
I am too. And it is Ronde. This is going to be very close. It will depend on where they mark it.
I don't think he got it.
Boilers think they have stopped him.
Ronnie Rose, the ball carrier, he stopped short of the first down. Kewanee will take over.
Ball is going to be marked at about the 20-yard line, and the Tigers needed to get it to the 19, so huge stop for Kewanee.
Again, kind of a surprising turn of events here, as Princeton was marching down. Kewanee needs 1 key stop. They pull it out right there. Now it's Kewanee ball. 5:30 to go in the second quarter, and they're in this ball game, folks. 14-7.
No measurement on that one. Ronde got close, but the referee says no. Kewanee ball, short pass. It is complete. Tavian Taylor with the reception. Little or no gain on that play.
I don't think he gained a thing there. That was a great job by the defensive backs of the Tigers there. I think it was Bennett Searns there, with maybe Drew Harp there as well, and Augie Christensen.
2nd down and 10 for the Boilers. This time an empty backfield. Bruno in the shotgun. Takes a snap, he's back to throw, he's under heavy pressure, moves around in the pocket, throws, and this one is caught by Tavian Taylor along the sideline. Gets out to about the 35-yard line.
We're going to call that a 16-yard gain right there. And I think Kale's trying to get another interception, and he just kind of overthrew Kale there, and he met his man with Taylor. Nice catch by Taylor, and that's a big first down by the Boilermakers.
And boy, Will Bruno, most impressive, the Kewanee quarterback on that play. It's one thing to throw a pass when it's up for grabs, but when you're in that formation, they know you're going to throw it. Now he throws once again, and this pass is complete. And it's Nimrick calling it in, and he's got a nice gain. It'll bring up 2nd and short.
Yeah, Nimrick's a tough individual to bring down, and Cale Davis is one-on-one, brought him down nice, but not before they gained 7 yards, and they got something brewing right now.
Second and 4 for Kewanee. Out to their 41-yard line. 3:50 to go, first half. Princeton leads 14-7. This time it is Taylor on the run, and he gets good yardage. He's got a first down. He's into Tiger territory, down to about the 47-yard line, as Tegan Davis in on the tackle.
14-yard gain right there. Just it looks like they're not getting the handoff very cleanly, but they're being really productive about doing it. Maybe that's their best play, is fumbling the handoff. And
really, it draws the defense in, and then they've got the speed to get to the outside, and it's worked out well for Kewanee. Now Bruno with the handoff, and it's a sweep wide to DeJesus. He's got good yardage. He's still on his feet. And apparently
there's a flag down.
Stepping out of bounds, and good call, Schmitty. Flag in the backfield where you usually would suspect holding.
Yeah, that defensive end went down. I think they held their defensive end and trying to make contain there, and that's why you got outside contain, because there's a little bit of holding going on.
And there it is. So forget about that big play. Instead, Kewanee is going to be facing 1st and 25.
That's a 6th penalty for 40 yards there for the Boilermakers.
Check it, 1st and 20. Sometimes I get confused on the rules, Schmitty. A 10-yard penalty used to be 15 in high school for holding, but anyway.
I think I thought they usually went by the spot of the foul, but I don't think so in high school. I always get confused between high school and then college and then pros.
Exactly. Yeah, you would think there'd be a lot of places where they could kind of come to a compromise. I realize kicking off, from different distances, but at any rate, it is what it is. 1st and 20 for the Boilers at their own 43. Bruno back to throw. He's firing deep. It's kind of hanging up, and they could have a case for pass interference, but no, not the case. It'll just be incomplete.
Looks like that was great coverage there by number 11, Matt Lucas. Matt's a pretty fast young individual and went stride for stride. And Bruno threw the ball a little bit short because I think the wide receiver outran the football there a little bit. And Bruno just didn't adjust his feet or didn't have the arm strength to throw as fast as the receiver. He was moving.
Yeah. 2nd down and 20 for Kewanee. This time it's right up the middle go the Boilers. And a short gain on this one. Relatively speaking, it's Patterson on the carry. So 3rd down and 16 coming up for the Boilers. Just 2:44 to go before halftime.
I was curious to see if Princeton was going to call a timeout, being it was a 3rd and long yardage, but maybe they'll save it for the next down, or maybe they're just happy and content to go in at, going at half up 14-7, make some adjustments.
Scoreboard shows that each team has 2 timeouts left. Big play here. 3rd and 16 for the Boilers. Tigers bring an extra rusher. Here's the pass. It's complete, but it's going to be little or no gain on the play.
Yeah, that was a great tackle by number 15, Augie Christensen. I mean, that play wasn't going to go anywhere.
Nico Poe, a great basketball player, is also a wide receiver. He hauled that one in, and there's that timeout you were talking about, Schmitty.
I thought we might see it there. I'll give him a gain of 1 right there. But, so far, Kewanee's holding their own. Norm, I'm pretty impressed with how they've came out and overcome both turnovers. Only holding the Tigers to 14 points thus far. But again, I like the adjustments I'm seeing on the Tiger side as well. They really did a nice job adjusting to Tavion and what they're doing with him. So they've really tackled him a lot better. And going forward, you might see some different results.
What about Kewanee here? Do you see a fake or going for it here on 4th down?
No, I think Coach has got to be pretty happy with what's going on right now, looking at the scoreboard and how his defense is playing. I think you pin them back, flip the field position here a little bit, and see if their defense can do it one more time before the first half.
Yeah, it's like you said, they're pretty much in a lot of ways playing even with Princeton. I mean, you try something tricky here and it backfires, a lot of your hard work could go right down the drain. So, all right, it does look like they are indeed getting into deep punt formation, but that's Nico Poe back there to punt, and he's an outstanding athlete. Watch out. He is going to punt it. Here's the kick. It's a high kick. Fair catch being called for and made by Tegan Davis at about the 25-yard line.
Well, I mean, the Tigers have got a minute 54 to do something with it, and they got some potent kids on the team that can make that minute 54 look like about 7 minutes, if you know what I'm saying, Norm. So I think you're going to see some 2-minute offense ran here and ran pretty well. We'll see how Kewanee can defend it.
Yeah, and hopefully somewhere in that mix is a long run by Rondé Worrells.
I think you're going to see a heavy dose of number 12 passing it on this drive, though.
1:54 to go before halftime. Tigers have 1 timeout remaining. Also, don't forget, if a drive would stall out at the 20-yard line or closer, they have Jamie Reinhardt, who's an excellent kicker. Make it a 2-score game. All right, we are set to go. Certainly a passing formation, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Man in motion, and Gibson is back to throw. It's a screen pass, and it is complete. And this is going to be good for big yardage. All the way down to the 43-yard line is Bennett Sirens.
33-yard gain for Bennett. You know what I liked about there? It was a great play call by Coach Pearson. But what a nice job by Bennett Sirens. Knew he couldn't get any more yards than what he already had and ran out of bounds to stop the clock.
Yeah, to have that awareness, that's great. Don't have to use the timeout. You made a big chunk of yardage. Gibson back to throw. Another pass. This one is complete. Oh, nice move by Tegan Davis. Picked up about 5 or 6 yards on that one. We'll bring up second down. Clock running with 1:31 to go before halftime. Gibson in the shotgun. Back to throw once again. He has plenty of time. The pass is complete. Davis catches it, goes out of bounds, just short of the first down.
Yeah, that was a nice game. Nice job by Tegan right there to get out of bounds again. So it brings out a 3rd down and 1.
3rd and 1 for the Tigers. They're doing a nice job on this drive. Haven't really used up too much time.
And they still have that one timeout in their pocket, Norm.
Good point. Gibson takes the snap, rolls, and now it looks like he was going to keep it. Now he's in deep trouble, gets away. Who's open? Anybody? Nope, Tyler's just going to run it, gets out of bounds, gets the first down.
I don't think they gave him the first down.
Gibson scrambled.
I don't see any laundry on the field, do you?
No, I think he just gained maybe a little bit, but not quite a yard. That's what we needed, just a yard.
All right, so, well, here we go again. It's 4th down and short. Clock is stopped with 1:09. Tyler did go out of bounds. Man in motion. Gibson calls his own number. He's got good yardage. He's still on his feet, and he gets inside the 20-yard line.
We're going to give him a gain of 15 on the play. So nice job by Tyler calling his own name.
And bear in mind that the clock does stop while they reset the chains for the first down. So if the Tigers get this snap off here quickly, they won't lose too much time. 1st and 10 at the 17. 55 seconds to go before halftime. Gibson awaits the snap. He has it. And it's a sweep to the wide side of the field, and it's going to be short yardage this time as Logan Glancy on the carry. He did not get out of bounds, and the clock's continuing to run.
We're going to give him 4 on that play right there, Norm. So, but still, clock's at 25 seconds. He's still got a timeout.
Gibson takes the snap, rolls, looks to throw. Receivers are well covered, and Tyler Gibson is tackled down around the 10-yard line with 13 seconds left.
Trying to see where they spot the ball at, Norm. Looks like he's going to gain maybe 3 on the play, 2? I'll give him 2 on that. But that's a time where you like to see Gibby throw it to the corner of the end zone there. And just, worst case scenario is you stop the clock and you're at the same spot where you just were. And saved a little bit of time.
Yeah, in fairness to him, it appeared to me that Kewanee had really good coverage. Now, with 13 seconds left, I would say the run is pretty well off the table.
You got time for maybe 2 pass plays as long as it's all end zone shots. I think, obviously with no timeouts.
Possibly sideline, but I'm with you. I'd maybe run one more play, and if it doesn't work, I'd bring Jamie in. That's just me. But
yeah, he's a good weapon to have. And, you mentioned that before. Good call on your part, Norm. But, definitely could go with that. But you got to stop the clock, whether it's an out of bounds or an incomplete pass. You got to stop the clock at this point because you have no timeout. So if anything inbounds is probably going to be half will probably be over.
I'm sure Coach Pearson talked about that during that timeout. And Tyler Gibson is a smart player.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
All right. Well, 3rd and 5 from the 11, but the big factor is 13 seconds left. Gibson back to throw. He's got a man open, and it's knocked away at the last instant. So 8 seconds left.
complete.
They're going to get the field goal kick, and Jamie's coming out.
Yep.
4th and 5 for the Tigers from the 11.
So we'll see where they spot this one.
Coming on for the field goal try is number 7.
One thing it seems to me, you coach Jamie in basketball, nerves aren't a big part of his game, are they? He stays pretty calm and collected.
He's a pretty cool and collected kid.
And the snap was made, but timeout taken by Kewanee. So they want to put the pressure on Jamie, but I'll tell you what, we'll see what happens, but I think they're picking on the wrong guy in this instance.
I agree. I think he's cool as a cucumber in most situations, and I think, as long as the line can block up front and there's a good snap and good hold, I see this going right through the uprights, that's for sure. It's on the left hash, so it's not a straight-on field goal. We'll see what happens here. What is this, Norma? 21 plus what, 6? 27-yard field goal?
That would be about right. We'll see where they spot it here.
It's at the 11, but I don't know where the kick will be placed at.
Well, here come the Tigers back out. Scoreboard shows Kewanee still has one more timeout, so they could conceivably try it again. It's about a 28-yard field goal, it appears. Here we go. The kick is on the way. We wait for the signal. No good. Apparently off to the right.
This is just right. With 2 seconds left in the first
Yeah, that
half.
was just a little miss. Didn't have that hook like he had hoped, and kicked it straight on and a little bit to the right of the goalpost. But the kick was really good. The hold was good. The snap was good. The line did a nice job. Just unfortunately didn't come up with the field goal.
Like
3
you
points.
pointed out earlier, kind of a tough angle there.
Mm-hmm.
2 seconds left. We'll see how the Boilers opt to play this one. Will they just take a knee?
Looks like it.
They're in such a formation, and that's exactly what we'll see happen. So we're through 2 periods of play here at Bryant Field, and at halftime it's Princeton leading over Kewanee 14-7.
Looks like St. B is up over Erie Prophetstown 14-7 with 1:30 to go in the first half.
So St. Bede having a fine season. And let's see, Steve, will we be able to pick up the band? Okay, so we will definitely carry the halftime entertainment here as the band is to the far side of the field, making their appearance on the field. And Schmitty and I will take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back with you for the third period.
For tonight's performance, the Marching Tigers have a hit song from 2017 that borrows some melodies from the 1961 hit, Please, Mr. Postman. You'll know it once you hear it. This tune is called Feel It Still. Please welcome to the field the Princeton High School Pom Squad under the direction of Miss Abby Cochran. Tonight's routine has been choreographed by co-captains Olivia Eichen and Zoe Starkey and is set to a great girl power anthem performed by Pat Benatar in 1980. This is Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
This is gotta be one of the coldest games in a while.
How you holding up, Steve?
I wouldn't like touch your eyes.
And we're back at halftime here at Bryant Field. The Princeton Tigers leading the Kewanee Boilermakers here at halftime by a score of 14-7. Scoring for Princeton, Drew Harp, a 4-yard touchdown run with 7:38 to go in the first period. Jamie Reinhardt with the kick. Tavian Taylor with a 70-yard run answered within about 20 seconds, actually, for Kewanee. Anderson's kick was good. We were tied at 7. And then the final score of the first half actually came with 2:57 to go in the first quarter. Rondé Worrells on a 5-yard touchdown run, and Jamie Reinhardt's kick was good. So, Schmitty, kind of interesting. No scoring in that second period.
Yeah, as much as they scored back-to-back there in the 7-minute mark there in the first quarter, no scoring going on as there's a battle of field position going on, and it's just a seesaw battle. The defenses for both teams are playing pretty well. I think, you could say Princeton shot themselves in the foot a little bit, in that second quarter, but I could also say Kewanee played pretty good defense too. So, I'm again, football's a game of adjustments, and I'm sure both sides of the ball, on Princeton and Kewanee, they're going to make some adjustments. So we'll see what happens in the second half when Kewanee opens up with the football.
Well, I know you've got some numbers for us, so if you wouldn't mind sharing those.
Yeah, so I got Bruno down. These are all unofficial stats. That's because Lord knows I've been watching the game, entertained by that, so sometimes I forget to write down a stat or two. So Bruno is 5 for 8 for 21 yards. He's got 2 interceptions, both to Cale Davis. Taylor he's their leading rusher. He's got 7 attempts for 107 yards with that 1 touchdown. Bruno with 1 for -7 and Patterson for 1 for 4. Receiving-wise, we have number 5, Tavian Taylor, 2 receptions for 16 yards. Number 21, Josh Nimrick, 1 for 6. And number 23, Nico Poe with 1 yard receiving. They have, I got them down for 6 penalties for 40 yards. Total of 6 first downs, 4 by rushing, 1 by passing, 1 by penalty. For the Princeton Tigers, I got Tyler Gibson, 7 for 12 for 80 yards. Rondé leading the rushing attack with 12 rushes for 70 yards. Of course, he's got that touchdown run. Logan Glancy's got 2 for a -1. Augie's got 2 for 8. Drew Harp, 2 for 3 in that touchdown. And then Tyler Gibson, 6 rushing attempts for 36 yards. And then receiving-wise, Bennett Sears leading the way with 3 catches for 63 yards, 2 big catches by the way of 31 and 33 yards, respectively. Tegan Davis, 3 for 10. Caleb Herring, 1 for 6. And Logan Glancy, 1 for 4. The Tigers have 6 first downs as well. 7 first downs. So 1 more first down in Kewanee as they have 5 by rushing, 1 by passing, and 1 by a penalty. And then they have 2 penalties for 15 yards. So they're doing a nice job being disciplined on that part of the ball. And then I got, 2. The defense led the way by 2 interceptions by Cale Davis, and then a big sack with the 7-yard loss that kind of fueled them by Pierce Miller. So yeah, I think probably not a first half that Princeton's happy with by any means, but I think overall I think they're going to make some adjustments and come through.
I was glad you brought up Pierce Miller. Boy, what a first half he had, huh?
Yeah, he made some amazing plays, and he did a real nice job defensively. And I think they got used to Tavion Taylor running the ball, so it takes a lot of Tigers to tackle him, and I think they did a nice job of gang tackling him in the second quarter. Made some big adjustments there, and saw them hold Taylor down after that big 70-yard run. After that 70-yard run, Norm, he had 8, 3, 11, quick math, 12, maybe 20 yards after that. So a nice job by the Tigers of holding Taylor after that big long run for that touchdown.
Yeah, very well said. And, you were too shy about your stats there. Hub Arkish is going to want to hire you. Those are fantastic. We want to thank the Princeton Public School Foundation for all they've done to contribute and make this broadcast possible. And by golly, we're not too far from getting the third quarter started. There was still 1:08 on the clock, but the referees were ready. The players are ready, and we're going to get this one going. And Kewanee will get the first possession of the third quarter. Jamie Reinhardt, this time he'll be kicking towards Central Street. And it's an onside kick, and the Boilers come up with it. Kind of took a Sunday hop there, and coming up with that for Kewanee was Garrett Pettit.
Yeah, that was a play where I think, they weren't acting like the Tigers was not acting like it was an onside kick because everybody was running as fast as they could like they were going to cover the kick, and Jamie was going to try to sniff that one out and just cover it himself. But Kewanee did a great job of sniffing that one out and just catching the ball and going down.
So we'll see if the Boilers can take advantage of this great field position. 1st and 10 at their own 48, Tavion Taylor, and he is met by a host of Tigers. Still doesn't go down, but he is.
Big Grant Foes, number 55, and he's getting that sideline pumped up, ready to go. He came out with a vengeance there as he nailed Taylor there for a 2-yard loss there, but nice job by Big Grant and the rest of the host of Tigers to there to swarm them and wrap them up.
Boy, if you wondered about Taylor's toughness, though, there were 5 or 6 guys on him, and he still never went down. They just had to call forward progress, or in this case, you might say reverse progress. It's 2nd down and 11. And Bruno back to throw, fires over the middle, and this one nearly intercepted. Drew Harp had it in his hands momentarily, and then it fell to the turf.
Drew will be the first one to tell you he was looking where to run before he caught the ball. But Drew was in the spot where he was supposed to be. Kind of reminded me of the old Bear days where Brian Urlacher just backed up right there. He would get picked off some interceptions. But Drew was right in the spots where he had to be. Just didn't come up with the ball at the time.
Well, we'll see what Coach Swanson dials up here for Kewanee. 3rd down and 11 at their own 48. Bruno awaits the snap. It's a quick pass, and it is incomplete. So 4th down coming up. And the onside kick that didn't work for Princeton doesn't appear like it's going to hurt them very much.
Well, let's be honest with each other, Norm. I think, when you got a defense playing as well as Princeton does, you can take those chances and make those onside kicks.
Absolutely.
And that's why, Coach Pearson trusts his defense, and they came through so far. I think Kewanee is going to try to go for it right
Yep,
here.
they are indeed. Of course, you got to watch not to jump off sides or anything like that. Now the quarterback backs up a little bit. He could pooch kick it. That's exactly what he's going to do. And this is going to work out real well for the Boilermakers. It's going to die at about the 4-yard line. So the Tigers are going to have a long way to go.
Yeah, no hill for a climber is what they say. Nice job by Bruno kicking that ball, and we call it a quick punt. Quick kick is what we used to call it. I used to run that back in high school, back in the 40s, I think it was, when I was in high school. But nice job by Bruno getting it down the field and flipping that field position that's so important in a game like this.
I know you're not that old, but I did talk to one of your former teachers today, Brent Kopp, down in Fort Myers, Florida. Brent told me it was going to get up to about 90 there today.
Brent was my first grade school basketball coach. Coached me when I was in 5th grade.
Wonderful man. He might be even watching tonight. And this is this Ronde? It is indeed. We'll see what they give him on the gain.
Give him 2 on the play, Norm.
Second down and 8. Steve Gray, our cameraman, he's enduring the cold on the outside, so thanks very much to him. Second and 8. Tigers are going to keep it on the ground. It's Rondé Worrells. He's powering for all he's worth. And does he have the first down
He
or
does.
not? It's very close.
He's got the first down. Nice job by Rondé and that left side of that offensive line, led by, looked like Caleb Herring, and is that number 75 I see over there? Jacob Reed. Nice job by those guys.
First and 10 for Princeton, I formation backfield. And that is Drew Harp, and that is going to be little or no gain on that one. And Rondé apparently a little took a little bit of a hit on the legs. He was limping originally, but now he's running off to the sideline.
Drew did a nice job just getting back to the line of scrimmage.
He did. Officially, they give him a yard. It'll be second down and 9. 9:44 to go, third period. Princeton leads 14-7. They started this drive at their 4-yard line. And right up the middle go the Tigers, and this is not going to be a big gain either. Augie Christensen on that carry.
It's going to be a big third down and 8 here for the Tigers as they switch out their personnel.
We have to give Kewanee a lot of credit too. They have been pretty stingy as far as rushing plays. Tigers will maybe have 2 or 3 good ones in a row, and then the next thing you know, the Boilers
Look like we got
will get
Tegan
stuffed.
Davis in the quarterback position right now.
That's exactly right. Of course, his brother Drake, a great quarterback for Bureau Valley, and Tegan Davis is going to keep it himself. He's got a first down. Great call, Schmitty.
Yeah, we saw some of that last week, didn't we, Norm? A nice call by Coach Pearson, and Tegan's just an athlete, and he's going to get you some yardage, and he did right there.
And I would think that you never know how things are going to shake out, but after Tyler graduates, I would think the quarterback job is, his to claim, so to speak. Now, this time it's Tyler Gibson. Same play once again, and good yardage once again.
He says, Tegan, if you can do it, I think I can too, and he gains 9 yards on the play. I think they seen something there in that first half about the quarterback keeper, and that was a nice job by Tyler there. So it brings down an easy 2nd and 1 for the Princeton Tigers.
Well, you talked about it, at the halftime break, adjustments. All right, what will the Tigers do on 2nd and short? I formation, man in motion, and before anything happens, penalty flag against Princeton, illegal procedure.
That's just their third penalty there, 20 yards, but that's a big one there because it was a 2nd and short. Now you got a 2nd and 6 coming up. Got to be a little bit more disciplined than that. I know we've done a great job so far, but just got to be a little bit more disciplined.
Clock dips under 8 minutes to go, third period. Princeton leading 14-7. 2nd and 6, Princeton at their own 32. I formation backfield. And a fumble in the backfield, and covering it up is Augie Christensen. So the last couple of plays have not been good ones for the Tigers.
That looks like a loss of 9 right there on the play.
So
Now they got a 3rd and 13 situation, Norman. You know, that's just miscue, shooting yourselves in the foot, and that's what happened that first half. And we're seeing it early here in the third quarter, and Coach Pearson's probably not going to be happy about that.
we mentioned there was no scoring by either team in the second period, and so far here in the third, no scoring as well. Gibson is under center. A fake to Ronde, and Tyler Gibson's on the run. Now he lets it go, and the pass is complete for a first down. Logan Glancy hauling it in for the first down, past the 40-yard line.
I'm going to give him 18 yards right there. And that's a great job by Tyler Gibson keeping his feet moving, acting like he's going to run, and he doesn't run. He throws the ball right on the money to Logan Glancy, who made a nice catch for a Tiger first down, a much-needed first down for the Tigers.
Didn't appear that there was much of a window for him to throw that ball
No,
through,
he zipped that right in.
Yep, 1st and 10 Princeton at the 42. And now it's Rondé Worrells going off right guard. About 3 yards on that play. 2nd down and 7 coming up.
Yeah, we'll give him 3 on the play there, being I'll give him 4, I guess. 2nd and 6.
Tigers, remember, began this drive at their own 4-yard line. Did you ever know the late Randy Swinford?
You know, I didn't get a chance to really know Coach Swinford.
But he used to talk about, you know, on a long drive, he used to call it walking the dog. And it'd be nice if Princeton could do that. Here's a screen pass. It's complete, and it's going to be good for a first down. Augie Christensen hauling that one in. So a nice drive going for Princeton.
Yeah, that's another first down. I think they gotten 4 or 5 first downs on this drive alone. Good catch by Augie there on a little wheel route.
Well, of course, this is one of the best teams Princeton's ever had. Mentioning Randy Swinford, led the Tigers to a 2nd-place finish in 1989. Now a quarterback keeper. That's Tegan Davis. Look at him go. He may score, and he does.
That's
Tegan
a 47-yard
47 yards out with 5:41 to go in the third period.
Tegan, pretty soon this is what's going to happen. You know, everybody's going to think he's going to run whenever he's quarterback back there. Then he's going to alarm him with the throw. You know, so nice job by Teagues right there. Great job. It was a great big hole there up the middle for the offensive line. Kudos for those guys to bring the Tigers up to 21-7.
PAT is right on the money. 21-7 it is. So Schmitty, the Tigers started that drive at their own 4-yard line.
That's a demoralizer right there if you're the defense of the Boilermakers. I mean, that just lets all the wind out of their sails. You know, the Tigers got to capitalize here on this very next possession. If they can stop them to 3 and out, I believe it's going to be lights out from here on out.
It'll be very, very tough for the Boilers. That is for sure. I know St. Bede is in action tonight at Erie Prophetstown, and when you checked before, I believe St. Bede was ahead in that one.
14-7, I believe, and I haven't gotten any
That's okay.
updates since then. But, you know, shout-outs to all the listeners and watchers out there that are watching this right now, texting me, tell me I'm doing a good job. I don't know about all that. I think Norm makes me do a good job. Makes me look like I'm doing a good job. I appreciate that.
You're doing an awesome job.
But thanks again to the Steves.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Morton and Gray, they do a nice job of what you guys see is because of these guys, and they do a great job throughout basketball. I know they did a good job for us on our boys basketball, and you know, here again in football. So nice job of those, and we thank them very much for doing that.
Absolutely. So Jamie Reinhardt to kick off. It's not an onside kick. I don't think it was intended to be, but it kind of winds up that way in a sense as Kewanee able to get on that squib kick. And by golly, it's Garrett Pettit. We'll have to remember not to kick it to him. He's the one that got the onside kick.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was meant to be a little more squib kick
Exactly.
than it was an onside kick there, but nonetheless, they pounced on it. Kudos to them, and let's see if the Tigers can play some defense.
I don't know if
now.
Kewanee needs a shortstop for their baseball team, but the way this Garrett Pettit can field the ball, he might be a good candidate. 1st and 10 for the Boilers at their own 47. Bruno throws, and he guns it in there. It's complete. Be short of a first down. Hauling that one in is Josh Nimrick for about a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, that was right on the money by Bruno. Probably his best throw of the night, actually. And Nimrick there to catch it. But none to stop him was Glancy, Kale, and Rondé all there to stop him.
2nd down and 3 for the Boilers as we near the 5-minute mark of the 3rd period. Bruno back to throw. Tigers with a good rush. Here's the throw down the middle. It is tipped, but not intercepted by the Tigers. Good coverage. Among those in coverage was Logan Glancy.
Got a flag down the play, but yeah, Logan did a nice job covering. Tegan Davis touched the ball, or else Kale was going to have another. Kale was going to have another interception because he was in the background waiting. Saw that overthrow, and he's probably yelling at his brother right now, "Why'd you tip the ball?" Because I would have had that one for my 3rd interception.
And a penalty going against the Boilers. Let's see.
Second and 13 for the Boilermakers.
Well, the penalty will make it 2nd down and 13. I'm not sure what the infraction was. Do you know?
I don't know what it was. If it was maybe a legal formation, because it was only a 5-yard penalty, not 10.
Okay. But it is 2nd and 13 at the Kewanee 44. Bruno tries to get the Tigers to jump, and apparently he succeeded.
Penalty flag on the play. Encroachment on the Tigers.
So they get the 5 yards back to the Boilers.
That was kind of a waste of time, wasn't it? Waste of flags there.
All right, so 2nd down and 8 at the 49 of Kewanee. And this time it's Taylor, and he's in trouble in the backfield. Can he turn the corner? Not really. He's pretty much stopped at the line of scrimmage.
His first initially, Drew Harp was there on the play, kind of derailed him a little bit, and then Tegan Davis, I couldn't make out the other, maybe Matthew Lucas. Yes, it was Matt Lucas. Tegan and Matt were both there to shove him out of bounds, so nice team defense there by the Tigers again to make them lose 3 yards in the play.
Boy, I'll tell you, though, when Tavian Taylor's got that ball, I mean, everybody's on the edge of their seat because they know that this is a guy that can take it to the house. 3rd down and 10 at the 47 for the Boilers. Bruno back to throw. He's under heavy pressure. Gets away from one man. Gets away from 2 men. Now he fires, and this one is caught for a first down. Holy Toledo. Josh Nimrick with the reception for the first down.
That's a 17-yard touchdown pass there. Not a touchdown pass. What am I saying? First down pass. Anyways, nice pass by Bruno to elude some pressure there. 17 yards on the play. That's a big first down for the Kewanee Boilermakers. Their first down of the second half.
4:08 to go, 3rd period. Princeton leads 21-7 as the Boilers have advanced the ball to the Tiger 36. Bruno awaits the snap, and the handoff goes to Taylor, and the Tigers do a good job of bottling him up. Possibly even a loss of 1 on this play, depending on where they spot it.
I definitely like the adjustments they've made on that young man right there. Nice job by the Tigers, swarming to the ball and stopping the run, and that's what you got to do. Then you make them throw the ball, and good things can happen for the Tigers. Maybe some good things can happen for the Boilermakers, but so far the Tigers been doing a pretty good job against the pass.
They give him no gain. Pierce Miller, who's having a great night, he was in on that play. Second down and 10 from the 36 for the Boilers. Tigers continue to lead 21-7. Bruno throws, and this one has the potential to be intercepted. Instead, it's just knocked away. And
I almost thought it was duck hunting season.
Yeah.
That was a quacker out there.
Yeah, it was.
That's that's what they used to say. It was a duck pass right there. Hey, shout out to a couple of guys here. Coach Frederick's watching the game. He's a good buddy of mine and an assistant coach on our varsity staff, and does a nice job with the boys. And he's watching. And shout out to him. And then Mr. Matlick just texted me too. So a couple of good guys right there.
And I know my regular broadcast partner Tiffany Gonningham was planning on tuning in tonight. So lots of folks. We appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We've got a good game for you, no question. 3rd and 10 at the 36. Bruno, bad snap, and Bruno wisely just covers it up at midfield. So much for this drive, you would think, for the Boilers.
Not after a big loss.
I'm going to give him a loss of 14 on the play. Just a bad snap. Bruno did a nice job just falling. I think he had time to pick that up, maybe gain some yards, but, did the smart play, fell down on it instead of losing it.
Nico Poe set to punt. He's standing back at about the 35 of Kewanee. Tegan Davis is back to receive the punt. This snap's a good one, and Nico Poe's punts away, and Tegan Davis has it. Lowers his head, and he's going to pick up about 10 or 12 yards on that return. A nice job.
Yeah, that was a great return by Tegan Davis there. If you can get 15 to 20 yards off a punt return, Norm, that's usually pretty good for you. I think that was about 15 yards there. So Tegan did a nice job again of that field position. Could have been worse than what it was, but instead he had a nice gain there and has put it on the 38-yard line of the Tigers.
Yeah, the net on that punt probably only, when you throw in the return, about 12 yards. So good job by Princeton. 2:16 to go, third quarter. Tigers up 21-7. Gibson calls his own number. Gets a nice block, and he's got good yardage. He's got a first down as he's to midfield.
Yeah, Tegan Davis and Bennett Searns did an excellent job of sealing that outside to allow Gibby to gain 12 yards on the play and a first down for the Tigers, and they are starting to roll right now.
Yeah, the quarterback keeper has really been effective. Remember a play earlier, the screen to Bennett Searns? Wouldn't mind seeing him come back to that at some point. Now Tyler Gibson fires deep. This is for Tegan Davis. Hit his hands, and then he couldn't quite hang on inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, it was a good pass. Tegan's mad at himself for not coming down with it. It would have been a great grab. He was double coverage. But yet, again, nice job by Tyler Gibson throwing the ball right on the money, and Tegan just couldn't quite come up with it.
Tyler Gibson's stats for the year, particularly against Lena Winslow, he probably had, now that was not an easy catch, but against Lena Winslow, he had probably 5 or 6 that he just threw right on the money and unfortunately fell incomplete. Second down and 10 at the 50. I formation backfield, man in motion. And the handoff goes to Rondé Worrells. He's got 5 yards, he's got 10 yards, he's got 11 yards. First down, Princeton.
Yeah, Rondé just putting his head down, exploiting that big hole on that left side of the left-hand side of that line, and a nice job by those guys just splitting the seams, and Rondé just plowed his head and did the rest of the work, and for a 12-yard gain, he's up to 96 yards, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, I was thinking he had to be close to that century mark. First and 10, Princeton at the Kewanee 39. And it's Rondé once again. Look at him go. He's got a first down and more, down to about the 25-yard line.
We're going to give him another 15 yards right there. And that's going to put him up to 111 yards again. But I'm telling you, the holes that he's running through right now are
yeah, that's a great point. I mean, not to take anything away from him, but that offensive line is doing a super job. Tegan Davis now in at quarterback. He looks to throw. His pass incomplete.
Number 2, Tegan Davis pass intended for number 11, Matt Lucas.
Yeah, I thought for sure when Tegan came back in the game he was probably going to throw the ball there since he ran it the last 2 times, and he did. Just ran a little screen, little bubble screen. He looks like he's going to stay in the game.
Well, he's an exciting player, no question about that. Tegan Davis awaiting the snap. He has it, and he's going to take off on a quarterback keeper. He's got good yardage. He's down near a first down. It's going to be marked, I believe, just short. And we'll bring up 3rd down and short.
We're going to give him 9 yards there. That brings him up to 3 carries for 66 yards. And now let's bring in number 28 and give him the ball and get that first down and maybe a touchdown.
Looks like that's the formation they're lining up in. And again, you've got Rondé over the 100-yard mark. Tyler Gibson back in at quarterback. And actually, that is Drew Harp right up the middle, and he's got the first down.
Looks like he's picked up 3.
Well executed play by the Tigers, though. Picks up the first down, and 3rd quarter is almost over as we will dip inside of 30 seconds on this snap. And Rondé Worrells running wide, and he is going to score. Rondé Worrells from 13 yards out. His 2nd touchdown of the night at the 21-second mark of the 3rd period.
Again, I attribute it to that offensive line, Norm. On that, I mean, Rondé's running hard, but he's running free too, and he's getting to that 2nd level like we talked about. And the Tigers have figured something out on the blocking schemes.
Now a fake by the Tigers. They're going for 2, and the pass is complete. Jamie Reinhardt throwing it, and reeling that one in was Danny Sy Hockey.
Oh, that was a great pass by Jamie. That's amazing. I love to see that stuff. No, what I was saying is that the Tigers have figured something out, getting their linemen to that 2nd level, Norm, and I think that's really helping. And plus, shout out to the ends and the wide receivers who are really doing a nice job blocking on the outside, freeing that up even more for those guys like Rondé to get wide open and running like he does. I mean, he runs hard. He's in the open field. He's going to be hard to be tackled.
Well, this Tiger football team has all kinds of depth. You know, it goes beyond the starters. You've seen what happens when Tegan Davis comes in place of Tyler Gibson. And you know what? There would be years that Jamie Reinhardt would probably be the quarterback of this team. You know that from having him in basketball.
Yeah.
He's that good of an athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the thing I like about, you know, this group and, you know, the group that I had, they're so unselfish. They're great teammates to each other. You know, they're out to help one another. They're, you know, and that's what makes great teams.
Absolutely. So Jamie to kick off. This time that squib gets through, and if it goes out of bounds, it's a penalty, and that is the case.
Cale Davis tried his best to get down there and feel that kick, but he couldn't quite get there. So I think, you know, you mess with Jamie's kicking a little bit. He can do a little bit everything. He can kick it deep. He can kick onside kicks. He makes that little pooch kick. You know, whatever you want, he does it on command. It's pretty amazing to watch. He can throw a ball.
Oh, without a doubt. And
he's like the water boy.
Kewanee was a little lackadaisical that time. I mean, if Princeton gets that ball before it goes out of bounds, quite obviously, it's theirs.
We got people watching from all over, Norm. We got, you know, people texting me from the Hilton Head. I mean, crazy. They're watching all over because the Steve and Steve connection is making this happen.
Absolutely.
Another big shout out to them guys. Thanks for watching us, fellas.
Just 21 seconds to go in the 3rd period. Tigers have put 15 on the board here in the 2nd period. Tavian Taylor has some open field. Look at him elude tacklers, but when it's all said and done, it's just going to be a short gain. About 3 yards, and that should end the quarter. 29-7 will be the score
Gain of 3
at the end of 3.
2nd and 7 for Kewanee on their own 38. At the end of 3.
You know, you mentioned the unselfishness and the willingness of guys to be good teammates. I know Tiffany told me that was the case with the girls. You know, whatever she asked of them, they did, tried their best, very unselfish. Makes it a lot easier when you're a coach.
It's just amazing how when you genuinely like each other, you genuinely like your teammate, how that represents on whatever sport you're playing. You know, whether it's football, basketball, I know soccer, anything you play. It's just a volleyball. You know, if you genuinely like your teammate, good things are going to happen. You're going to have great results. And you're seeing it with the football program. You've seen it with the girls' basketball program. You've seen it with the boys' basketball program. You know, it's just you can't emphasize that stuff enough. You know, if you have a good culture in the locker room, you see it in colleges. You see it in pros. It's just good things happen. And, you know, that's a tribute to these kids for getting along and setting their egos aside. I mean, you know, you could say, I want the ball 24/7, you know. I mean, look at Tyler Gibson running off the field, but he's the first one to congratulate Tegan when he comes off the field and he scores a touchdown.
There you go.
I mean, that's huge.
Well, we've got just a moment here. It's not a Princeton athlete, but a big shout out to Jackie Chenot, who was selected the VCR Girls Basketball Player of the Year. She battled the injury bug, and plus the Hall girls missed several games because of COVID protocol, but kudos to Jackie, not only on this year, but a great career at Hall High School. Now the Boilers, Bruno throws deep, he's got a man open, and a nice catch is made. Jordan Johnson laying out for that one. Thank goodness here we have high school rules. If that's the NFL, he could have got up and run.
I'm trying to calculate the reception there. That's a 31-yard gain. That's a great throw by Bruno, but that's a heck of a catch by Johnson, who just grabbed it on his fingertips and brought that in.
Makes you think of Calvin Johnson of the Detroit Lions of a few years ago.
Let's not get too crazy. There's not too many Megatrons out there.
All right, Tavian Taylor on the run, and the Tigers, it's like you said, he had the 70-yard run right off the bat, and since then, Princeton's done a nice job of at least containing him.
Yeah, I agree. That's 11 carries for him for right at 100 yards, but I'm telling you, our pursuit from our linebackers and our linemen is doing a nice job of just gang tackling on. It's really something to see.
So, a little bit of math, that figures out to 10 carries for 30 yards since that initial 70-yard jaunt. So that's about 3 yards a carry. You can handle that. 2nd down and 11. Bruno back to throw. He's under heavy pressure. He lets it go, and this one goes out of bounds, incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 11.
Good coverage there by the Tigers. Doing a nice job of pursuing them out of bounds. Bruno really had nowhere to go with it, and wisely tried to hit a receiver, but wisely threw it out of bounds. So we got another shout out from Sarasota, Florida. They're all over the place. That's crazy.
Wow.
People are coming out of the woodwork. My youngest son giving me stuff about calling Jamie the water boy, kind of like that, I guess. So Nacho, that one was for you.
3rd down and 12 for the Boilers. Ball at the 32-yard line of Princeton. Bruno back to throw, looks one way, now he's under heavy pressure, he lets it go, he hits a man at about the line of scrimmage, and that's about all that play is going to get. It'll bring up 4th down and 11.
You had Rondé there, you had Logan Glancy there, you had Cale Davis to finish up the tackle there. No gain on the play. It's going to bring up a 4th down. Just great pursuit by the Tigers there.
Jordan Johnson, who made that spectacular catch just moments ago, he's the one who hauled that one in. Yeah, and one of the nice things about Princeton's streaming of the games, absolutely no charge. You know, some schools you have to pay money. Not here, and wherever you're at, as you mentioned, whether it be Florida, Colorado, you name it. You're all set. Just Tiger Central Live. Timeout, Kewanee.
Timeout.
And probably a good choice here, Schmitty. They they're in a spot here where they need to pick this up.
Yeah, I agree. It's a 4th down and 10 situation. 10 minutes to go. I mean, you got to go for it here. I know they're in Tiger territory, but you know, being Mr. Obvious here, 29-7, you must go for it. Hey, Norm, another shout out from K's Beer. I mean, that's a ways. That's a ways away too.
Wonder if that's our buddy. Is that our buddy Brian Emerson, the great appliance repairman?
No, it's the former PHS standout Randy Allen.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. We don't like to plug too many people in the air because, you know, people, we're still in COVID times. You don't want people collaborating on people's front lawn trying to get an autograph here and there. So,
well, I know you've gotten a number of cards and letters. I checked mine, and I got one for a satellite dish for $59.95 a month.
oh, shoot.
4th down and 10 for the Boilers. Bruno, who's been really good tonight, fields an errant snap. He's under heavy pressure, and he is finally going to be sacked. And guess who?
Pierce Miller. Drew Harp there initially to make the stop, but Pierce Miller there to clean up, and he is pumped up. Nice job. Pierce is having a great game.
Oh, isn't he?
He is.
It's a good thing. Can you imagine if this was the pros and they had to negotiate his contract or whatever?
I would be the first in line to raise my hand and say, I want to be his agent.
Yeah. Well, let's see if the Tigers get that ground game going and just try to burn up the clock here with this 29-7 lead. 9:55 to go in the game. Tyler Gibson very calm, and the pass is incomplete. That was intended for Matt Lucas.
Yeah, Matt be the first one to tell you he needs to come up with that ball, but Tyler throwing it right on the money. Matt just needs to come up with a little bit, and he'll get the next one.
2nd and 10 for the Tigers from their own 41.
Ronde is in the backfield. He's standing right next to Tyler Gibson. And Gibson to throw. This time it's Tegan Davis. And a short gain on the play. Kewanee does a good job covering up on Tegan Davis.
Yeah, Tegan's starting to put up some stats there in the overall and receiving, rushing, quarterbacking. I mean, he's doing it all tonight, showcasing his skills a little bit, Norm.
3rd down and 8 for the Tigers. 9:21 to go in the game. Princeton in control at 29-7. Gibson back to throw once again, and he lets it go deep, and this one is incomplete. Tegan Davis was down inside the 30-yard line and just couldn't quite reel it in. It'll bring up 4th down.
Looked like a pretty good pass from Gibby. He looked like it was probably right on the money again, but Tegan couldn't come up with that sliding catch, and now the Tigers in punt formation.
I have to say, I was totally surprised by that drive. I thought we would see Augie, Drew Harp, and Ronde just running that ball, but maybe next possession. As it is,
you never know, though. I mean, maybe Coach Pearson wants to work on some things. And
sure,
that's probably what's going on right there. And you know, I mean, that was the time to do it. You're up 29-7.
Sure.
You can afford that luxury to do that.
And Gibson's punt is a good one. Tigers have good coverage, and the Boilers are just going to let it roll. And it goes inside the 10-yard line, so just great execution there.
Yeah, I think 13 Johnson was looking at Cale number 5, Cale Davis, in the eye and said, I don't think I want to field this in front of him, so he let it go, and that's what happens as a result of good field coverage right there, and you know, now the Tigers have pinned them back on about the 9-yard line.
You know, you look at the Tigers' remaining schedule. They're all Friday night games at Orion on April 9th, at Newman on the 16th, and then they host Fulton for the final game here on April 23rd. But don't you just kind of feel like, since there's no playoffs, that Newman game's like the Tigers' Super Bowl?
Yeah, I agree. That's the one they're probably marking on their schedule for sure.
And the Boilers try to run the ball, and there's little or no gain on that one.
Yeah, that's another 1 yard loss there. So he's now below 100 yards. And I'm telling you, I mean, a phenomenal job in the second half by the Tigers on keeping that young man, who's a good running back, keeping him in check this whole second half.
Yeah, they had the one long pass to Johnson, but outside of that, not a whole lot going on for the Boilers. Clock nearing the 8-minute mark to go in the game. Boilers deep in their own territory. Ball is fumbled momentarily, and now Bruno just throws it as far as he can. And the Tigers had a better chance of coming up with it than the Boilers.
Yeah, Bennett Syrians tried to race down to grab that ball and just couldn't quite come up with it. That's a smart play by Bruno. Give him credit. He picked up the ball, just knew he had a fly pattern, threw it as far as he could in hopes that he probably was hoping to incomplete pass it, which he did. But that's a smart move on that young man's part.
3rd down and 11 for the Boilers. They have it on their own 9-yard line. Tiger defense is fired up. And now timeout being called by the Boilers. They'll have just one left after this, I do believe.
Norm, we're going to keep the ball rolling, and long-time shout-out to long-time coach Charlie Waka. They're texting me from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. Where's Santa Rosa Beach?
I don't know, but that's Charlie, huh?
Yeah.
All right, Charlie.
That's his son Eric texting me. So
okay.
He said give a shout out to his dad while you're doing it. He said we started something here and he wanted to have a shout out too. So I don't know where Santa Rosa is, but it's got to be warmer than where it's at here.
Yeah. Charlie Walker's as good as it gets, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yep.
Super guy. I mean, if there's a role model to ever have in your life, he'd be the one to have, wouldn't he?
Yep. Totally unselfish person.
Yep.
So we'll see what the Boilers cooked up during that timeout. 3rd down and 11 from their own 9. Bruno once again in the shotgun, awaiting the snap. He has it, and he lets it go long again. And this one is incomplete. A little bit of a bump on the coverage, but no interference call. It'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, I think Kale might have got a little way. It looked like they were battling for the ball a little bit. Maybe it got some feet tangled a little bit. I don't know.
I'm guessing in the NFL that would have been called interference. It wasn't extreme by any means, and the referee decided to let it go. The Boilers are faced with a punting situation.
And Kale's always pushing that envelope, taking as much as he can, and he does a nice job. He was stride for stride with them. That was a good ball by Bruno, though.
4th and 11. And a penalty flag comes before the play can really take place.
That's going to be the 8th penalty on the Boilermakers. It's a legal procedure.
Well, Kewanee has not been able to score here in the second half. Certainly a real spirited first half for the Boilers, but it's been all Princeton here in the second half.
Yeah, Princeton outscoring the Boilermakers 15-0 in the second half, and it's all over but the shout, I think. 8 minutes with the great run game that Princeton has. Be interesting to see what happens.
Nico Poe standing near the end line of the end zone, and it's a high snap. He does manage to pick it up. He gets the punt away, and apparently no penalty for roughing the punter. And so the Tigers will take over at their 31-yard line. Well, some of the Kewanee faithful not too happy, and I would say they have a legitimate gripe on that one.
I don't know. I thought the Tigers laid off of the punter there. He did a nice job of acting.
A little acting? Okay.
I think it was a little late on it, but nonetheless, I'm kind of a homer anyway, so.
First and 10 for the Tigers at the 31. We'll see if they go to that ground game now. Oh, yes, it's Rondé Worrells, and he gets about 4 on that one.
He's stopped by number 1, Cam Conley.
Coming up second down and about 6 or 7 yards to go.
Shout out to Logan Glantz, who just mauled a defensive lineman there for the Boilermakers. You know, guys like that never get called out for blocks like that, but that was a great block by Logan.
Second down, and now it's Rondé once again, and Rondé has a first down, and for a moment I thought he might take it to the house, but anyway, a first down for Rondé as he advances the ball from the 27 down to about the 18-yard line, so 9 yards on that pickup.
So that's 20 rushes for 138 yards. And more importantly, it's their 15th rushing first down.
Rondé came into the action averaging nearly 10 yards a carry. So relatively speaking, the Boilers have done a good job on him. But still a huge night for Rondé. First and 10 at the 19. Oh my goodness, we got to give props to the Boilers there. That is a great defensive play. Josh Nimrick blowing that play up.
Yeah, Augie got blindsided there by Nimrick. You don't want to get blindsided by that guy too much because that guy will bring the lumber and then some, and he just brought it then.
Second down and 12 for Princeton at the 21 as we've dipped under 7 minutes to go in the game. And the Boilers staunch on defense on that run. It'll bring up third down and about 13.
Poor Augie's going to be saying after the night, can somebody block for me a little bit when I get the ball? Please.
Yeah, he just, there hasn't been much of an opening for him, has there? Well, we'll see if the Tigers go to the air here. Third down and 14. 2 receivers to the left. And Gibson's going to call his own number. He's still on his feet.
Oh.
It's down near the goal line. I did not see a touchdown signal.
No, I think he's within the 5-yard line there. It's at the 4. So a 19-yard gain there.
Boy, oh boy, that quarterback keeper, whether it's been Tyler Gibson or Tegan Davis, it's been a real effective play for Princeton tonight.
Yeah, Tyler's got 76 yards on the ground.
Wow. First and goal at the 4. Right up the middle, and it is a touchdown. Taking that one in is Augie Christensen.
Augie's thinking about time.
5:42 to go in the game, and Augie Christensen from 4 yards out.
Jay Reinhardt on to attempt the PAT.
Tiger lead is now 35-7 with Jamie Reinhardt on for the PAT. And his kick is right down the middle. 36-7 is the Tiger lead.
Well, I think that that touchdown there by Augie Christensen just simply said, beep, beep. See ya. Drive home safely, folks.
We're talking about the Tigers' upcoming games. Do you know off the top of your head, Newman with their streaming service do you know what's up with that?
No, I don't know, only because, we played Newman at home this year. We didn't play on the road, so I don't know what they got going on up there. But I'm sure that they'll have something to stream and be able to watch. And
there's an oldies radio station out of Polo, 94.3 FM, that they kind of do a game of the week. Sometimes it's Polo, but they do a lot of Newman games. So that would be a possible source, but I'm assuming that, they'll still have limits on fans, so, it'll be to find a way to tune in or watch.
Yeah.
And Kevin's pretty good about putting it in the paper, too.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So the Tigers kick off here with a commanding lead and a low rolling kick fielded by the Boilers at about the 40-yard line.
Reinhardt's kick recovered by number 1, Cam Conley.
Cam Conley there with a the kick recover there. Another shout out to Coach Raby. He's a freshman coach, does a phenomenal job with our freshmen. It was his first year head coach of the freshman, Norm, and he's watching the game tonight, so shout out to Coach Raby.
1st and 10 for Kewanee at the 40-yard line. Bureau Valley taking on Hall this Saturday, 1 o'clock start. You can watch that one. It used to be Hall Digital Media. Don't look it up on that. It's Hall High School Sports. See what the Boilers come up with. They're going to keep it on the ground, and this is going to be a loss to try to get the Princeton tackler. Well, Drew Harp is one of them. Boy, he's had a great night, too. We've talked about
Drew Harp's been all over
Pierce
the place.
Miller. And 11 tackles last week against Hall. He just does a fantastic job.
I'm impressed with the linebackers, period. You got Rondé and Drew, and Augie does a nice job back there.
Totally agree.
Along with Danny Sahaki, too.
2nd and 14. This time the Boilers run it wide. They do get some yardage, but it's still going to bring up 3rd and long. Malcolm DeJesus on that carry. 3rd down and 10. Clock dips under 5 minutes to go in the game. Are you a baseball fan, Schmitty?
I love baseball.
Oh, I do too.
I love baseball,
Today
I was
was a
bummed out that
special
the
day.
Cubs lost 5-3 today, but I do love me some baseball. I think I'm going to go home and watch the White Sox play tonight.
Sure.
They play against Joe Madden and the Angels tonight at 9.
You think it was warm and toasty at Wrigley Field today? No. All right, and now Bruno throws, and this one is tipped and intercepted, and guess who?
Cale Davis.
His 3rd of the night. Wow. Whoa.
Oh, if they went there, that was a catch, and they're not giving it to him.
Wow. They're ruling that was incomplete.
Oh, my. Well, I know Kewanee hadn't gotten very many calls. It's 36-7, but that would have been nice to have Cale to have his 3rd interception there.
Yeah.
Hey, get this. Paul the Amble Bomlamy is giving us a shot. That's a compliment and a half.
Well,
He says, Norm, you're doing a great job, which I totally agree with.
Well, there's another Charlie Walker type situation. Just another great guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's the punt. And taking the fielding of that punt is Tegan Davis. He moves ahead for about 6 or 7 yards. Gets up to the 37-yard line. And the Tigers with 4 minutes left. We'll see if they can
got a flag
ground
down
this
here.
one out. Oh, a chop block. And we got a man hurt.
It's a legal chop block, and I think that guy is laying on the ground right now, unfortunately for the Tigers. Hopefully he's okay.
Well, we mentioned Princeton's schedule. Kewanee's only playing 4 games this year. And the Boilers, let's see what they have left. They host Hall on April the 9th. And then they play at Riverdale on the 16th, and that'll wrap it up for the Boilers.
Another baseball score, 11-6, Cardinals win. I don't know if I really like to announce that too much, but we do have Cardinal fans that are out there. Good to see that young man. Is that Pierce? No, it's 60.
I'm not seeing 60 on our regular roster. I wonder if that's a sophomore number, which we don't have.
Well, we're glad to see he's all right. Looks like he's walking on his own power. Still hurting a little bit, but it looks like he's okay.
Yeah, those chop blocks, they are so dangerous.
Oh, it's 66, Alex May.
Alex May, okay.
I couldn't read. It looked like a 0, not a 6, but yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it. 4:03 to go. Tigers hoping to grind out a few first downs here. And
Alex, a captain of the Tigers, hopefully he's okay on the sidelines there, as Sergio does a great job as our athletic trainer, and I'm sure he's going to fix him right up and he'll be fine.
And now the football's being moved to the 45-yard
Princeton
line.
will start 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line.
And now they're marching it even further
The
down the
penalty will
field.
be assessed to the spot.
My goodness.
1st and 10 Tigers from the Kewanee 45.
At any rate, Princeton will start out 1st and 10 at the Kewanee 45.
For us to judge, we'll take it.
Rondé Walls, look at that explosiveness, driving forward, and he's got about 6 yards on that carry.
He's stopped by number 77, Skylar Summey.
That's 21 attempts for 143 yards for Rondé, closing in the 150 mark. And
Tigers in a relative hurry to get this next play off. Now Rondé is hit behind the line of scrimmage, and a penalty flag comes in.
I think we left a little bit too early,
By
maybe.
21, Josh Emmett. Penalty flag on the play.
So we went, and now another is.
That's where the spot foul is holding.
Oh, okay.
Holding against the Tigers. Penalty is declined.
Still sorting out this penalty as to whether or not the Boilers are going to take it. Now Coach Swanson says, yeah, Mark, push him back.
I thought maybe they'd take the down since the time's 3:36, but I don't know if it really matters at this point,
Yeah,
honestly.
they're pretty much out of it.
That's the Tigers' 5th penalty for 35 yards, so
2nd and 20 for the Tigers. Keep it on the ground, and oh boy, a nice gain here. Augie Christensen inside the 35-yard line, and he's got a 1st down.
about 22-yard run for Augie. Finally got a little help and saw that little crease and got it. He's a speedster for he's got some power, but he's also got a bunch of speed there too.
Tegan Davis in at QB. He's going to call his own number, and he's got good yardage, still on his feet. And Tegan Davis gets inside the 20-yard line down to about the 16.
Norm, he's going to be fun to watch. 16 yards there for Tegan.
Doesn't he remind you a lot of Drake, the way Drake used to do it at BV?
Drake was pretty. I haven't seen Tegan throw the ball yet, but Drake is pretty. Has a pretty good one to comp him to.
1st and 10. And once again, it's Tegan Davis. He gets inside the 15-yard line. Clock down to 2:30 to go and running.
Got an injured Boilermaker. I believe that's
Now they're
Cam
going to
Conley.
stop it.
Cam
clock.
Conley, who just tackled Tegan, did a nice job. Hopefully he's okay. He's a good kid. I know Cam played against him and coached against him in travel baseball. His dad's a great guy too.
Well, we certainly do hope that he is all right.
Norm, it's been fun. I appreciate you guys having me on. I've had a lot of fun tonight. Brings back a lot of old memories when I used to call games back in the day, and I love doing it. And I love calling the Tiger games because it's they're a lot of fun to watch, and they play so hard and so well. So thanks for having me up here.
Well, you bet. And of course, many years you and JD on Bureau Valley football, and then of more recent vintage, you and Tim Catton and Dave Shepard, kind of a fabulous Freebird approach. You get 2 of the 3.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Anytime you got Shepard Catton involved, I don't know anything is fabulous. That's for sure.
No, you guys, you were great because it had nothing to do. I mean, Matt Pistol, is a great coach, but Bureau Valley was down a little bit, and so there were some pretty lopsided games. But you guys still made it interesting. You're a lot of fun to listen to.
Looks like Cam's limping off. Looks like that left leg is injured a little bit. Hopefully he's okay.
Just hate to see anyone get hurt,
Yeah.
regardless of which team it is. And boy, when it's cold out, it hurts that much more.
I agree.
Second down and 7 for the Tigers. Tyler Gibson's back in, hands to Ronde, and it's fumbled momentarily, but Ronde able to get it back.
Recovered by number 28, Ronde Wolf.
Be third down and about 6.
3rd and 7 for the
Tigers have it at the 14-yard line of Kewanee. Tyler Gibson under center. And this is Drew Harp right up the middle. Oh my goodness, did he take a hit? Close to the first down. Josh Nimrick on the tackle.
But I'm telling you, if anybody can take that hit, it's going to be Drew Hart. He takes a pounding, but he gets right back up every single time.
Yeah, he can, and he can dish it out too. 4th down and 2, Tigers. Well, I was going to say they were going to go for it, but they won't have to. They're going to get this one by charity of Kewanee.
That's going to be the 10th penalty on the night for roughly around 68 yards.
Tigers are actually to the point where they could just take a knee, but they appear set on getting another touchdown, and there it is. Ronde Worrells from 5 yards out. That is his 3rd touchdown of the night. Third touchdown for Ronde Worrells. 5-yard run with 1:20 to go in the game. Puts Princeton up 42-7. Jamie Reinhardt on for the kick. And the kick is up, and it is good. And that makes it 43-7 in favor of Princeton.
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's hard to judge, as a coach, when you should pull your kids and when you should leave them out there, because these seniors, this is all they got left. They have no playoffs. You want to keep them out there as much as they can because they deserve it. So hats off to Coach Pearson letting those kids play, because they don't have a postseason to play for. That's the way we were in basketball. You didn't have a postseason to play for. So it's kind of a catch-22 where, years past, if you had a postseason to play for, you might pull those kids out a little bit earlier than what you would in a season like this, where there's nothing to play for, but you want to keep those kids that earn the right to play.
That is just an outstanding point.
Kicking for the Tigers is number 7, Jamison Reinhardt.
1:20 to go. Princeton up 43-7. Tigers' next game will be against Orion. Through the years, the Chargers have been no slouch.
Yeah, they usually have a good football program year after year. It seems like over there. I don't know if what their record is now, but they'll be a tough opponent coming up next Friday.
Once again, a bouncing kickoff, and once again, good job of fielding it by the Boilers. Will Bruno, their quarterback, actually in on the kick team, and he recovers it.
From 34 yards.
Well, you had a shortened basketball season, shortened football season, but it's a lot better than nothing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's worth it. It wouldn't have mattered if we had 5, 10, 20 games. If you get a chance in a pandemic like we were in to get a chance to play sports, get back to some sort of normalcy, you'll take it, right? That's
absolutely.
That's the way it all worked out. I took 10 games. Some other teams had more games than we did, but you know what? 10 was better than 0. So.
Yeah, and then I would guess like the Hall girls basketball team. I doubt that they reached that. They had a couple times where they had to deal with COVID protocols. So yeah, 10 games under the circumstances, not bad.
Yeah, I agree. And you ask those girls, I bet you they were glad to play whatever games they got in.
That's for sure. Certainly appreciate everyone tuning in tonight on Tiger Central Live. 43-7. Now at this point, it's just nobody gets hurt. That's what we're hoping for. Kewanee just runs it up the middle, maybe a yard or two. Now baseball, Schmitty, high school baseball, they are going to have playoffs and stuff. They're going to run well into June. Have you ever been to the state baseball tournament?
You know, I never have. I've been wanting to take my kids there. And maybe this will be, if they allow fans, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be the first year I can take them. I don't know.
I went down when Hall had their championship, and it is a lot of fun. Actually went the next year, too, when I guess the most local team was Rock Island Alleman that year. But, yeah, it's a great thing. Good point, though. Will COVID restrictions be lifted a little bit by then? Now another run up the middle. Stuffed by the Tigers, and that very well could be the last play of the game.
Number 24, Garrett Pettit, Walker.
43-7, Princeton leading, and that is going to do it as the Boilers begin to walk off the field, and the Tigers as well. What, as far as stats, Schmitty, I don't know what you can give us, but Rondé, maybe what he had. We know he had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, we'll just run down. I know, Tyler Gibson threw for 108 yards. Rondé rushed for 148 yards. Tegan Davis rushed for 85 yards. Tyler ran for 76 yards. Augie ended up with 23 yards, as much as he was getting hit in the backfield. And leading the way for receiving-wise was, Bennett Searns, who had 3 catches for 63 yards. And it was total domination in that second half by the Tigers, kind of like I thought they might come out and do. And so, slow and methodical to start out the gate there. But I tell you what, you look at the scoreboard, you thought it was a lot closer than that, though.
Right, and now as we're getting ready to go off the air, some outstanding sportsmanship being displayed here, so it's always good to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we haven't seen enough of, because, quite frankly, they won't let us, and I'm glad they did it here.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Princeton wins over Kewanee, 43-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, the traveling trophy for the rivalry of Princeton and Kewanee.
Mike Berry and Mike Filippini with that call. Tigers on the road the next 2 weeks at Orion, at Newman, and they close out the season at home taking on the Fulton Steamers. That game will be on Friday, April 23rd. Schmitty, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate it. And thanks to Steve Gray and Steve Morton again for all they do and bringing this broadcast to you guys. So appreciate you guys watching, and thanks for having me on.
And thank you for listening. That's going to wrap it up. Again, final score, Princeton 43, Kewanee 7.